Welcome to Survivor Scale. I'm H2 Mass, and today I'm ranking every main character in Jack Bender's 1991 Choked Out and Chopped Up Child's Play 3, where a now 16-year-old Andy goes to military school and must become the protector when Chucky moves on from the main character and tries to take another child's body for his own. We start the film 8 years after Child's Play 2, where a claw machine grips Chucky's dead body so tightly that it bleeds. As the blood drips onto the floor, the claw drags the decomposed doll over a batch of molten plastic, mixing Chucky's soul into a new body and once again reviving the iconic villain so he can react how everyone does when they have to go back to work after a long vacation. We then move to the darkest boardroom of the 20th century, where the administrators of the Playpals Corporation deliberate about whether or not to put the good guy dolls back on the market after all that's happened in the previous 2 films. While some oppose the idea for the potential risk to the company's image, Executive Sullivan shows his greed when he approves the reinstatement of the dolls, telling his board the same thing an executioner says after using a guillotine.
We're moving ahead.
To celebrate Sullivan's decision, an employee brings him the first good guy doll off the assembly, after which Sullivan brings him home and takes his eyes off the package as he grabs a drink. When he sits on the couch, he doesn't realize that the package is now empty, and when he decides to play some mini golf, he doesn't hear Chucky running across the floor. Chucky then hides the TV remote, but after Sullivan nearly breaks his back to find it, Chucky unleashes a jar of marbles, which turns Sullivan into a Looney Tunes character. Luckily though, Sullivan shows some decent mobility when he dodges a toy car driving towards him and then a helicopter flying through. That police car would have gotten him if he were black. Unfortunately, Chucky smacks Sullivan with a golf club, but Sullivan shows some resolve when he gets back up and tries to get away. Not letting his prey escape, Chucky hits Sullivan with a dart, dropping both his body and his IQ to the floor as Sullivan stops trying to get away but instead crawls towards Chucky to reach the phone and call for help. Chucky though just hits him with another dart and then chokes him to death, sending the breathless businessman beat up and bloodied to C tier. Chucky then uses Sullivan's computer to find Andy's current location, Kent Military School. We then catch up with Andy, who's grown 8 years older in just 11 months since Child's Play 2 released. Man, kids these days grow so fast. As Andy moves into his new dorm, he releases his roommate Whitehurst, who had been stuffed inside a closet. He and Whitehurst then join the rest of the cadets outside for some stereotypical bullying from their commander, who tells Whitehurst the same thing I tell myself in the mirror every morning.
You are without a doubt the most pathetic thing I have ever seen!
Showing some boldness, fellow cadet Kristen De Silva speaks out against Lieutenant Colonel Shelton's aggression and calls him an asshole, so he responds with some vindictiveness and makes her do 25 push-ups, 2 with one hand, which she does without fail. Later, a young cadet named Ronald Tyler takes a big package to Andy's room, but on the way there, shows his clumsiness when he drops it down a flight of stairs. As he checks the package, he notices a good guy logo and decides to steal it for himself, taking it into the armory to play with it. Chucky though has other plans and jumps out to attack, but stops when he realizes that the kid isn't Andy. Chucky then tells Tyler that his real name is Charles Lee Ray, so that he can do what he tried to do to Andy in the first film by taking over the body of the first person that he told about the truth of his existence. Meanwhile, Andy takes shots at a shooting range, but shows poor accuracy when he doesn't hit the target at all. Kristen though displays the complete opposite when she hits near the center with all of her shots. Impressed by her skill, Andy asks her to teach him how to shoot, and with her tutelage, he finally hits the paper. She must be a great teacher. Back at the armory, Tyler completely believes that Chucky is just a normal good guy, and Chucky convinces him to lie on his back as he tries to play Hide the Soul, a game where Chucky chants voodoo spells to take over someone's body. Before he can finish though, some higher level military officers walk in, so Chucky goes into doll mode and Colonel Cochran takes him away, passing by Andy in the yard before placing Chucky into a trash compactor. Before he gets crushed though, Chucky starts screaming for help, so the garbage man jumps inside to save what he thinks is an innocent person in danger. As the man looks through the trash, he definitely breaks some safety protocols and goes all the way to the back, allowing Chucky to turn on the trash compactor as the man unsuccessfully tries to escape before ultimately getting crushed to death. Later that night, Whitehurst tells Andy that he should have gotten a package, but Andy tells him that he never received anything. Displaying poor deduction and caution, Andy simply relaxes in his room as if he didn't see a good guy doll earlier and shouldn't assume that the package has something to do with the killer doll that's tried to take over his body 2 separate times. Man, Andy really fell off. And now he's falling off his bed after Chucky slices the back of his leg. Andy then crawls away to the corner as Chucky tells him his plan to become a black guy.
Chucky's gonna be a bro.
Andy, though, displays some resolve and attacks Chucky, but before he can kill him, Shelton walks in and displays even more assholery when he takes doll mode Chucky away just because he thinks it'll annoy Andy. However, after Shelton goes to sleep, Andy sneaks into his room to kill Chucky, but he doesn't have enough points to unlock the weapon on the wall, so he just walks around with his tiny knife. As a serial killer though, Chucky has enough kills to buy the Bowie knife, and he sneaks up on Andy, who jumps back and wakes up Shelton. Angry, Shelton then makes all the cadets walk around in a circle in the rain, where Andy tells Whitehurst that Chucky is alive and going after Tyler. But of course he doesn't believe him. Meanwhile, Chucky looks for Tyler, who just tries to play hide and seek, not thinking Chucky actually wants to harm him. Before Chucky can find Tyler though, Colonel Cochran walks into the room and finds Chucky in doll mode, so he once again throws him in the trash, but as he walks away, he hears a noise, turns back around, and no longer sees Chucky. Until he jumps out and screams at him, which scares Cochran so much that he has a heart attack and dies.
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Andy then finds Tyler and tries to convince him that Chucky will soon hurt him, but Tyler shows his naivete and refuses to believe Andy, still thinking Chucky is a good guy because he has the label on his shirt.
Charles isn't bad. He's a good guy. It says so on his shirt.
He lies, Tyler.
Since his persuasiveness fails, Andy gives Tyler a knife to protect himself if he ever realizes that Chucky isn't actually his friend. Meanwhile, the school's barber finds Chucky, and for some reason tries to give him a haircut, but Chucky has seen his work on all the other students and decides to kill him before he can mess up his hair too. Whitehurst then walks in and sees Chucky talking beside the barber's dead body, but instead of reporting this heinous crime, especially after realizing that Andy hadn't lied about Chucky, Whitehurst simply goes back to the rest of the cadets and doesn't say a word to anybody, even after Andy asks him if he saw Chucky after noticing how traumatized Whitehurst looked. Shelton might be right about him. As the cadets prepare for a massive paintball game, Chucky shows off his dastardliness and replaces the paint rounds with real bullets. At night, Andy shows off his charisma and gets a kiss from Kristen before stealing a map and looking for Tyler, who's in the other team's camp. However, Chucky has led Tyler somewhere else so they can play hide the soul again, but when Tyler calls the game dumb, Chucky pulls out his Bowie knife and threatens Tyler for being so ungrateful of his hospitality. Tyler then finally shows some skepticism and realizes that Chucky isn't a real good guy, displaying some resolve by using the knife Andy gave him to stab Chucky and run away. He's learning. After Tyler runs to Andy, the two of them do a bad job of explaining that everyone is in real danger with a serial killer nearby, causing Shelton to treat the situation as just a part of the game. Though it's definitely Shelton's fault too. Chucky then takes Kristen hostage with a hand grenade and forces Andy to bring Tyler as a trade. When the rest of Andy's team arrives, Shelton sees Chucky talking like a regular human but only reacts like a person desperate for physical intimacy.
Fuck me.
The other paintball team then rushes in and unknowingly shoots Shelton with real bullets, sending the callous commander Captain the Cold to C tier. Believing Andy to have replaced the ammunition, some of the cadets attack him as a tribute to Shelton, so Chucky takes advantage of the chaos and throws the grenade a few feet away from him. Whitehurst though decides to have at least one high evaluation and bravely dives on top of the grenade right before it explodes, leaving the Kent Camp cadet turned cracked up corpse in D tier. After realizing that Tyler ran away and Chucky started chasing after him, Andy and Kristen run towards the nearby fair to look for them. They then search the security center, but only find the guard dead on the ground. Though Andy immediately tries to continue looking for Tyler, Kristen shows some resourcefulness and takes the security guard's gun. Now that's what I'm talking about. Chucky then forces Tyler to go inside a horror attraction where Tyler displays his skittishness when he falls after a skeleton pops out at him. Andy and Kristen then walk in and find Chucky, but Kristen reveals a poor clutch gene when she misses a shot under pressure after hitting the target so effortlessly earlier. Chucky then takes advantage and shoots her in the leg. Showing some resourcefulness, Andy takes off his scarf and ties a tourniquet around her thigh. Mindfully, Kristen then gives Andy the gun and he goes looking for Tyler, who would run away when Chucky began chasing him. After Chucky gets some plastic surgery, Tyler tries to escape as he hops on a prop and flies to the top of a volcano, but Chucky hangs on as well and knocks Tyler out. As Chucky begins the ritual to take over Tyler's body, Andy tries to climb the volcano as well, but loses his footing and nearly falls into a fan underneath him. Showing some determination, he tries again, but this time tries to shoot Chucky when he gets halfway to the top. While he misses the first shot, the second one takes off Chucky's arm, and the third hits him in the chest and appears to knock Chucky off the volcano. When Andy climbs up to help Tyler though, Chucky jumps back up, attacks Andy, and nearly knocks Tyler into the fan, but Tyler hangs on and gives Andy his knife. Andy then cuts off Chucky's other hand and throws him off the volcano, finally allowing the fan to feast on someone's body and giving the doll his third death in both 3 years and 10 years. Damn, Chucky really knows how to have an epic death. Time to rank. First off, we have Andy, who once again has a pretty good performance, but still nothing spectacular, displaying some solid composure and adaptability, but also some fairly poor deduction that nearly led to his death. Overall though, his positive qualities do just enough to leave him in the upper quartile and place the over 2 times targeted teenager in A tier. Next, we have Tyler, who may just be a kid, but he has so much influence on the story that I have to include him. Though he eventually became aware of Chucky's true nature, his initial gullibility and reliance on others makes him one of the film's least productive characters and leaves the truly tricked and trashly treated child in D tier. Lastly, we have Kristen, who doesn't display a lot of attributes but still manages to impress with the few that she does. Her good resourcefulness and accuracy place her near the top of supporting characters in horror movies, but her poor performance in her most important moment keeps her out of the top tier and leaves the shot up sharpshooter in A tier. But that's it. The average ranking for this cast was C tier. Below average collection of characters. As the third installment in the iconic franchise, Child's Play 3 doesn't bring a lot to the table and ends up being a pretty forgettable film, despite yet another entertaining outing from Chucky. Thanks for watching.